What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm bringing you the 3X Albaz Strike structure deck profile that I put together. I have a complete side deck and everything. Sorry if my voice isn't sounding 100%. I'm still not over my allergies. But I'm going to get right into the deck profile. Starting us off in the main deck is 3 Springin's Kit. This card is obviously the best normal summon you have in the entire deck. When it's normal or special, you get to search a branded spell or trap, add it to your hand, and place a card from your deck onto the bottom of your deck. And then, if you control a fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz as material, you can special summon it from your hand. Pretty solid card. Next up, we're playing 3 Albion, the Shrouded Dragon. Albion is basically Upstart Goblin. If it's in your hand or graveyard, you can reveal it, send a Fallen of Albaz or branded spell/trap from your deck to the graveyard, from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and depending on where it was sent from, you either can special summon him from your hand or place him on the bottom of your deck and draw a card. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Mercurier. This card can go up to 3 if you slot in 3 Allure of Darkness. This card is a really good Allure of Darkness target, because it's a hand trap on top of being a really good Allure of Darkness target. So if you open multiples of it and you have a Allure of Darkness in your deck, I would highly recommend slotting in a 3rd one, because when it's banished, you get to add a branded or a you can add from your deck to your hand 1 Fallen of Albaz or a monster or that mentions it, except for Mercurier itself. And then we run 2 of the main man, Fallen of Albaz. I did rarity bump these in the structure deck. I had 4 ultra rares from my Mega 10 opening that I did. So I slotted in 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz. He's so easily accessible with all the new support from the structure deck. So you really only need 2 of him. He's recyclable, even from the banish pile. And then the best spell in the deck, because I'm going over this in order of like Fallen of Albaz / branded cards, and then generic stuff. I'm playing 3 copies of Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion lets you fusion summon using monsters from your hand, field, or main deck as fusion materials, and you can only use 1 of it per turn. You're going to search this with your kit all the time. Next, we have 3 copies of Branded Lost. It's basically the invoked field spell, but as a continuous spell. The activation of cards and effects that include an effective fusion summon, a monster cannot be negated, and then if a fusion monster is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon a fusion monster, or you can add a Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand. Pretty solid card. Gives you extra material and stuff to continue plays. And then 1 card that I found in the deck that I really liked, because if you banish your Fallen of Albaz for a fusion summon, Branded Bond is a really good way, both going first and going second, to get additional fusion summons using Fallen of Albaz's effect. You can special summon a Fallen of Albaz that is banished or in your graveyard, which then Fallen of Albaz would get its effect to be able to super poly. And then if it's discarded for Fallen of Albaz's effect during the end phase, you get to set it. And then I am also playing 1 copy of Branded in White as an additional fusion spell. And then it has the same effect during the end phase. If it was discarded for Albaz's effect, that you get to set it during the end phase. I am then playing 1 Branded Retribution, because it takes too much setup to run it at more than 1. And then I am running one copy of Judgment of the Branded, negate a board nuke, and that is it for the branded cards / Fallen of Albaz cards in the deck. These are all you really need. You don't need any more or any less. Next, I am running, to start us off in the just generic section, I am running 3 Keeper of Dragon Magic. It can search your branded fusion, because when he's normal or special, you get to search any polymerization or fusion normal spell from your deck to your hand. I'm only running 2 Pot of Extravagance because Pot of Extravagance is a little risky in this deck. Because you do want to be able to fusion summon, you do want to be able to play your monsters from your deck on the board. And it's just a pretty good draw card if you see it. Running, obviously, the 1 Called by the Grave, 1 Gold Sark as an additional copy, or as a way to banish your Mercurier to get the search. And then I am running 1 Fusion Substitute, because if you discard this, it has an effect in the graveyard to banish itself, put a fusion monster back in your extra deck, and then you draw a card off of it. Pretty solid card. Right, and that is it for like generic stuff. And then for like some other small engines or packages I am running in the deck. The Scythe package, I am running 1 Artifact Scythe and 3 copies of Back to the Front. Artifact Scythe, you're going to be sending to the graveyard with Branded Fusion, and then back to the front on your opponent's turn to lock your opponent out of the extra deck. Pretty solid play, if I do say so myself. But I'm not a very good Yu-Gi-Oh player, so take my word with a grain of salt. Next up, we have 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and then 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Obviously hand traps, light targets for branded fusion. Even though you can send Scythe from your hand to the graveyard as well with branded fusion. Starting us off in the extra deck, we have 3 copies of Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon. This was the card that when Konami was announcing the cards in this structure deck, I was like, oh, it's just a slower elemental hero absolute 0. Because during the end phase of the turn, it was sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card. You get to destroy all monsters your opponent controls. It has a quick effect to send a fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz from your deck to the graveyard to banish a card or a monster your opponent controls. One of the 2. I'm not going to bother reading it right now. To banish it, and then it cannot be used on the next turn. So, and it's a quick effect. So if you use it on your opponent's turn, you can't just go and use it on your turn. Pretty cool, pretty balanced, pretty nice. And then, does it do anything else? Banish one monster. Nope, that's all. And it's just a 3K body. Then we have 3 copies of Lubellion. Oh yeah, and then this fusion materials are Fallen of Albaz plus any extra type of monster, so like another fusion, a Synchro, or an Xyz monster. And then we have 3 copies of Lubellion, which helps you get into Mirror Jade. When it's summoned, you pitch a card to fusion summon, use it, or by shuffling materials from your graveyard, face a banish or field back into their respective decks. And fusion summon a monster, which is pretty solid. Then I'm running 3 copies of Albion, the branded dragon. When he is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon a monster that lists Fallen of Albaz as material by banishing materials from your graveyard, from your hand, or face up from your field. So this card, you can make this card go into this card. This card requires a light monster, and Fallen of Albaz, this requires this is a light monster plus Fallen of Albaz. This is a dark monster plus Fallen of Albaz. So you can make this, to make this, to make this. Pretty solid way to go about it. Then I run 2 Titaniclad, 2 Brigand, and 2 Sprint, just to kind of round it out. And then a lot of these have the floating effect to search for Fallen of Albaz if they were if they're in the graveyard at the end of the turn. Next, and last but not least, we have the side deck, which is 3 Dark Ruler no more. Obviously sighted in for going second. 3 Dimension Barrier. 3 Warning Point. All of your cards to side in for going second. 3 Thunder King, the Lightning Strike Kaiju, and 3 Radiant, the multi-dimensional Kaiju. Again, all of these are for game 2 when you're going second, or if you go second. Dimension Barrier really good, especially against like Sword Soul and any other deck in the meta that uses anything that's not links or an excessive amount of links. Warning Point is also really good to counteract stuff like that, and Dark Ruler just helps you break boards. And then these also help you break boards, as well as providing more targets for branded fusion. So that is the deck. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to hit that like button, share my videos around. Again, I'm sorry if I'm a little quiet. Like I said, my throat's been destroyed by allergies recently. And I'm also working a lot, doing a lot of things outside of YouTube. And I'm hoping to eventually start doing YouTube a little bit more frequently. Right now, I'm just trying to figure some things out and whatnot. Anyways, that has been my 3-time structure deck profile. If I find any better ways to put, or like better cards to put in over some other cards, I will update the deck list. And then like I can also update it with 3 Allure and 3 Mercurier and other ways to fusion summon, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. I'm gonna stop rambling, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.